PJ Barch versus JT Torres. Guys, hats off to PJ Barch. He beat JT Torres, the former Abu Dhabi champion. Guys, that was a major upset. Props to Chris F. Guys, I totally forgot about that match. I was very shocked. Very shocked. Not that PJ Barch ain't great. Okay, the guy's amazing. But JT Torres is an OG, man. He's an original. And I thought JT Torres can win it again. Okay, now my personal pick, even though I have a student, and of course I back him up. I just felt that some of the guys just more experienced, that among other reasons. But I thought Taza could win it. Yes, absolutely, Oliver Taza. However, my pick was Nicky Ryan. I thought he was just his style was going to work really well. And especially for Abu Dhabi rules, that style that Nicky has, I think is great for Abu Dhabi rules. But it wouldn't have surprised me if JT Torres won it and PJ Barch beat him. Very surprising. Absolutely very surprising. Gary Tonin, yes, round one. That's from ANZ, yes. I think it was McNeely. I guess I've never seen McNeely roll until this event. He's a very interesting grappler. He beat Gary Tonin. Now Gary Tonin dropped down to 66. Guys, that must have been an incredibly hard weight cut. When I heard he was going down to 66, I didn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest with you. Now, I'm making no excuses. I just want to highlight that Gary Tonin was at 66 kilos. Very difficult weight class for him, I think, to be healthy and strong at. And one of Tonin's attributes is that he doesn't stop moving. And it's gonna be hard after cutting that much weight, man, to have that style of his. Bodani versus Hulk was a big one. That's from I don't know. I would pick Bodani to beat him. Guys, Bodani from New Wave, Giancarlo. That was actually I watched that match today. That was such a great match. No, I honestly I would pick Bodani. I love the fact that Bodani won it against Hulk. Atos versus New Wave. New Wave won 3 titles and Atos 2. That was the tiebreaker. That was like the one that was a toss-up. Who's going to win this one? And I would pick Bodani, man. I think he's a phenomenal grappler. He's really up and coming. I've heard so much about how good I've never trained with him, but I've heard he does amazing in the practice room. John Denhar's talked to me very highly about him. Very, very highly. And, man, he got to win. And from what I've heard about him, it didn't surprise me. Ethan versus... guys, forgive me for pronouncing the name. I won't even try because I know I'm going to get it wrong. But that's from Cesar Parafan. One of my students, Ethan Krelliston, he lost the first match. I heard he had the back. And they didn't score the points because it was a bit off. And then he lost to an armbar. Guys, big upset. But look, I'll tell you one thing. No excuses again. But Ethan just came off a ACL tear. He could barely make it to Abu Dhabi. Like his knee, of course, the recovery. It takes about a year to really get the muscle back in your leg. It's a complicated injury you don't want. Guys, make sure to get strong and stable knees for life. It's on jujiclub.com. Guys, make sure you get it. Keep your knees strong and stable for life. People say Rickson Gracie submits 100 black belts in a seminar, one after the other. Unbelievable. Has Gordon surpassed this physical feat? Please explain the levels. That's from Varen. Varen, I already did. I'm not going to go over it again, okay? But I can only speculate. I wouldn't be surprised if he submitted 100 black belts. Guys, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. But I definitely believe Gordon Ryan can do it. No doubt. Guys, did you see what happened? Guys, there are black belts and then there were world-class black belts. A lot of the guys in Abu Dhabi could submit 100 black belts. A lot of them. Especially if we're allowing heel hooks here. A lot of guys, there's so many black belts out in the world. They don't know anything about heel hooks. Sometimes black belts come to my gym and I roll with them and I leg lock them like literally every minute. Literally every minute. You can be a white belt in leg locks because your jiu-jitsu is old school. I get bored of leg locking them. I just forget. I'm going to stop leg locking you because you don't know anything about leg locks. Why? They got their black belt 5-10 years ago and they never learned leg locks and their teachers forbid leg locks, or they come from the gi and now they're trying no gi and their game is, they have a technique gap. They have a hole in their game. It's just like my blue belts will leg lock them. I've had really good black belts come from Brazil, literally from Brazil, and get just leg locked after. Guys, it's just a bald spot some guys have in their game. Now, in Rickson's era, he was upper body submitting. Don't get me wrong, Hickson had good leg locks. Hickson has scored leg locks. We know that for a fact. He did in Pride. However, he was well known for his upper body submissions. It doesn't surprise me. Gordon would do it today. Many guys in Abu Dhabi would do it. If they go in a regular practice room in a seminar with 100 black belts, yes, they can sub 100 black belts. There are levels to black belts.